In today's world, we have more and more services companies who are invoicing their services, but the question is, how efficient are they in their way of invoicing clients? My name is Guillaume, and as a business advisor at Odoo, I get to know a lot about the processes of those services companies. Some invoice prepaid, some based on timesheets entered by their employees in an Excel sheet, or some based on project's progress, but with no integration between their project management and their invoicing. In today's presentation, I'm going to highlight the importance of streamlining your services sales and invoicing. We'll go in a demonstration in Odoo to see how this flow could be handled, and I hope that at the end of this presentation, all services companies listening to me and not already using Odoo will think about changing their way of working in order to improve their accuracy, efficiency, and user experience, and hopefully doing it with Odoo. So, why is it so important to optimize the invoicing of your services? Well, first, it minimizes the risk of error, which can be not invoicing the reality of what has been worked, and therefore losing money on a project, or, on the other hand, not knowing what to invoice, and risk to charge too much your client and make them unhappy. The goal is also to be more efficient and to avoid wasting time searching for what needs to be invoiced. And most important, getting paid right and in time by a customer. Let's now imagine a company in digital security consultancy. They invoice their client monthly based on the hours worked on the project by the employees during this period, which means that each month the amount invoiced can be different if we have many projects ongoing at the same time or if there were a lot of resources on holiday, for example. We'll dive in a minute into the demonstration and we will see how to make sure to easily follow your projects in Odoo within the project app that is directly integrated with your sales and invoicing. Your employees will be able to enter their timesheets easily on their tasks and project, even through their phone, thanks to our mobile app. And then, accounting won't need to go and ask and look for information before invoicing, because everything will be updated when creating the invoice for the client. Let's jump into it directly and in the demonstration. So, what are the apps that we are going to use here from our home menu of Odoo? So we're first going to make a sale through the sales application, of course. Then we will see, once this sale is confirmed and becomes a sale order, how our project can be triggered, how we can manage this project, plan our task, assign our sales, and enter, of course, our timesheet. And then we'll see how those timesheets can be easily invoiced to our client at the end of this process. We just received an email from one of our historic clients called Snooze Corner. They used to work with us 2 years ago when they were expanding, but it's been a while now since we worked with them, so we need to create a new quotation for them with our updated rates. So let's take here our client Snooze Corner, and we need to also make the estimation for the project. Just so that you know, they want to install their own servers at their work location and need some IT security consultancy about it. So what we're just gonna put on our quotation is this IT security consultancy. Our rate is 120 euro per hour worked for this kind of service. And of course, we estimated the project and we say that it was 50 hours project for this kind of thing. It's just an estimation. Gonna make it in the terms of condition, really professional, estimation only. Okay, and that's it. We can now send this quotation to our client. Odoo will prepare a small email for me, but I can always decide to use one of my own templates, of course, if I need to, and send this quotation. So I have my beautiful PDF here. That's one thing. But in addition to this quotation in PDF that my client receives, in the email that Snooze Corner received, they received also a button to access their quotation online. So right now, I'm not a worker, an employee of Verbox Consultancy anymore, but I'm the CEO of Snooze Corner and need to validate this quotation. And from this online portal, I can get access to this quotation, comment it if I need to comment it, but especially accept and sign the quotation. So really easy. I can do it on my phone if I need to as well, thanks to the email that I received. And I will draw my most beautiful signature here to accept this quotation. Okay, now that this is done, this online portal access will not serve only for signing quotation. If I go on my little home menu here, it would allow me also to have my real access with my supplier, which is in this case Verbox Consultancy. And let's say that I forget, I lost one of my invoices and I need it for my accounting. I can just connect to my online portal and access this invoicing without sending a message to salesperson and wasting time with exchanges of email. I can just connect to my online portal. Can be the same with project management, for example. See how are we in our project, or my supplier, they decide to be really transparent in their timesheet, and I can access directly the timesheets of my supplier directly from my online portal. Let's go back now as an employee of Verbox Consultancy in the backend of Odoo. And what do we see? So we see that the quotation has been signed, has been confirmed, and we see that it became a sale order automatically thanks to this signature. In addition to that, what can we see also is those new smart buttons that have been created automatically. My project has been created thanks to this confirmation. I can get access to those tasks in one click from here, but I will still show you the project application. Let's jump here in our project application with all our different projects at the different stages. I have the latest one related to our sale order number 39 with Snooze Corner that I can just drag and drop here in progress. And I see the 50 hours that were estimated on the quotation. If I enter now this project, I made it really easy with a few stages, only 2 tasks with the contractual hours and the extra hours, and we'll put the contractual hours ongoing, for example, they are approved. Okay. If I enter now this task, there are several things that I will be able to do also to manage my project and my different tasks. I'm already assigned, so this is good, but I could also assign someone else, a colleague with me, and I will allocate some time. Okay, let's say that the 50 hours are planned to be used in the contractual hours, and I will enter a deadline. Okay, this security consultancy for their servers needs to be done before the end of the year, so this is one thing, but we're going to try to make it a bit before. So let's start next Monday, and we will try to finish it before the beginning of Christmas holidays, so that we know we have a bit of tampon to put at the end of the project. And here I have my task plan. What's the goal of doing this? If I go back here in my view, I can check out my Gantt view. Here, maybe it's not really relevant because I have only one. But if I go in all my tasks, I can take a look again here at the top right at the Gantt view for all those tasks and see also my workload of my colleagues for this month, and see how we're doing, if we can take on more projects, or if we should then slow down a bit and work on those projects and finish them before having new ones. Here I can see that Mark Demo has some time again, but I don't anymore. Let's go back in my project here and my task. We saw some new features that Fabien showed us also, but let's not also forget the basics of Odoo with this chatter. If I need to work with a colleague, I can just tag them and, okay, can you take a look at this, and just work with my colleague simply with this chatter that is always there and will be your best friend using Odoo. I started working with this for this client, and I just need to enter my timesheets. There are several ways to do so. I will show you two today. Here I can just go in my timesheets tab and simply add a line with a description of what has been done. Again, this is something that I like to do to be transparent with my client and to explain what has been done with the time spent. So let's say that there was a breathing preparation that took me 2 hours. Then I gave the breathing on security, took me 1 hour, and maybe during this time, Mark Demo, my colleague, worked on the project also and gave security training to the whole team of Snooze Corner, and this took 4 hours. So we can see with those timesheets added here that we can have a view on the hours spent, the hours remaining for this task, and also the percentage of where we at for this project and this task. Now that this is done, okay, this is one way to enter the timesheet, but maybe I don't want to go every time in my tasks, in the timesheet tab and add a line, even though it's really easy. I'm used to Excel sheet to enter my timesheet, and I want to maybe find something similar here in Odoo. What I can do is just go through our timesheet application and see all the different projects and tasks I have assigned to myself here at the left, and here my week, where I can just say, okay, today I worked 2 hours on this project and 1 hour there. Maybe here I worked 4 hours there and 4 hours, half a day here in this project, and on Friday the whole day at the same project. So it's really easy to just enter your timesheet like in an Excel sheet and have an overview of all that this is done. Okay, my timesheets are entered. It's good. Now it's the end of the month and we need to invoice our client. What will accounting need to do in order to do that? Then just go to the sales application and check out here the different orders to invoice. By doing this, I can see all the different orders that need to be invoiced and the latest one, which is the one for Snooze Corner. And if I enter it, I can see the quantity that was sold in the first place and the hours that were delivered. By creating the invoice, I can first have a down payment or regular invoice, but here we have a regular invoice, and I'll be able to select the start and end date for the period I want to invoice on. So it means that here, for the example, we're just going to take the month of November. But if I decide to invoice quarterly, if I decide to invoice even yearly, I can do so. And Odoo will just take the amount of hours worked for this project linked to this sale order for the amount of time that you selected here. I'll create the invoice, always in draft first. I have already my analytic distribution that is here for analytic accounting that we can see also later on. And I can just check out the journal items if needed and confirm to post my invoice in my accounting. So it's as simple as that to invoice the hours spent and worked by our employees on a project. So now that we did this, okay, this is nice, but maybe one other important point is to check out also the profitability of my project. And if I go back here in my project application, I can take a look here at the reporting and the project updates for this project. And if I enter this, so I'll be able to see what has been sold, this is one thing, okay, what has been delivered, and also what has been invoiced already, but in relation with the cost, okay, I have my rate, which was 120 euro per hour worked, but every time myself or an employee works on a project, it has a cost for my company, and those costs are here as well. So it will allow me to have a real gross margin for every project that I have ongoing based on the time spent by my employees, but also based on purchases I made that I want to link for this project. Let's say that I needed to buy some material for those server installation. I can have them here in my cost. Same for some expenses that I need to put on my cost of the project that I won't re-invoice to my client. Everything can be here in my profitability report and have a real gross margin to know where I'm at for this kind of project and take the right actions if we're losing money or if we're making maybe too much money. I don't know if it's possible, but let's imagine. Okay. So, to conclude what we saw here a few minutes back in Odoo. So what will Odoo bring you as a service company? Well, the answer is better, faster, stronger. So better user experience, which means no more Excel files, and then switching from this Excel to a project management software to follow up your tasks and plan them, to after another software for the invoicing of your client. Faster processes. So no need to go and check an Excel file, hoping that your employees enter their timesheet correctly, and then manually enter those hours on your invoicing system to invoice the final client. And stronger reliability. Make sure to invoice correctly the hours worked on a project and have a real gross margin on your projects in order to pilot financially your company and take the right actions accordingly. Thanks a lot for your attention, and we'll jump into the Q&A right away. So if you want to ask your questions, there is the QR code for the pad. Je t'entends. Loader. Non, ça va aller. Okay. So, what are the other type of invoicing policy for services? So, we can check it out directly in our database here. So we have the one based on timesheets that we saw here during the demonstration. We have one that is prepaid, so you just make the estimation and make them pay based on your payment terms, however you want. You have one based on milestones as well, so which can be that you define the different milestones, and once you reach a milestone, you decide to invoice a percentage of the whole project. And then you have one based on the delivered quantity, which is something manual that you will say, okay, at this date, we'll decide to deliver 30% of this phase of the project, for example. So this is something a bit more manual that you can do, and we'll calculate the percentage of the phase or the whole project to then invoice the client. Can we invoice multiple clients at the same time based on the timesheet of the month? So yes, this is also something possible. When you have multiple orders here to invoice that are based on timesheet, you can just here select the two, create the invoice, and you have the start and end date that you can select, and it will do what it did just earlier for one project, but then for 2, 3, as many projects as you want. Where can we define the hourly cost of an employee? So, good question. This will be in the employee application directly. You can set up, let's take myself for example, you can have the HR settings and first the billing time target that Fabien spoke about earlier, but you have also the hourly cost, which will be calculated for the cost of your timesheets. How can we link a purchase order to a project? Well, when you have a purchase order, you can just have the analytic distribution. Let's take one that is not confirmed already. For example, this one. I cannot invoice this one. Well, anyway, you have the analytic distribution, and you just need to here put the project that you want to link it with the 39 was the one that we use, and say, okay, this 100% for this project, or split it in different projects if you want to, and you will have it also in the profitability that we saw earlier. If demo, please make sure to show on the screen. Yeah, I just did. Can timesheets be validated before invoicing to a client? Yes, so this is also something that can be done in the settings. If I remember well, you can decide here in the settings of timesheet that the timesheet taken into account when invoicing your time are either all recorded timesheets or only the one validated first. So you can decide to have validation for your timesheets, and once it's validated, you can invoice them, but not if they are not. How to be more efficient? Well, using Odoo. Just using Odoo, but it depends also on your way of working. If you decide to go prepaid, if you decide to go based on timesheets, but just the fact of not switching from a software to another, that's already something that will boost your efficiency. Can we hide the amount of hours timesheeted from the customer on the portal? It depends on if you want to hide only this or not, but you can decide to not give access to this information indeed, yeah. How to configure the cost of a project? Well, this depends a bit on what you mean by the cost of a project. I mean, if you mean the hourly cost of your employees when they timesheet, if you mean like other purchases order, or we can discuss it at the demo booth, because I would need a bit more information about that. Can we templatize project with predefined tasks? Yes. So if you remember well, when my project was created for myself, it was already with some stages here and already some tasks, and even this contractual hours that was already assigned to me. So you can decide to have a template with a lot of stages and a lot of tasks already created if you want to. Oh, well, I think that's the end of my timing now. So maybe we can meet later at the demo booth for the other questions that are remaining. Thanks a lot for your attention, and enjoy your Odoo experience.